Welcome back to another edition of Senior Spotlight. I'm your host, Caitlin Grasillo, and joining us today from the women's cross country team is Sam Lisek. Sam, thank you for joining us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So Sam, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just some background information, where you're from, your major.
I'm from North Carolina. I lived in Greenwood, South Carolina for 12 years, and I love it in South Carolina. It's like my home, so when I went to North Carolina, I wanted to come back. So luckily, I got a scholarship here to run, and I'm an exercise science major. I'm trying to get into MUSC for physical therapy school, and I'm really close to my family, and I just live life to the fullest.
Good. Did you always grow up running?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 4 or 5 years old. So it's kind of contradictory to have somebody running with asthma. It's been a struggle. I ran in 5th grade and absolutely loved it. Like, my parents were really encouraging. I finished in 30 minutes, which is really bad for a 5K. So I was like the last one, and I just kept up with it over the years. And I quit for a year, and then somebody from my school in North Carolina encouraged me to run again. And she actually runs for UNC Pembroke, I believe. And I started running road races from then, and I fell in love with it. And despite my asthma, I had to work really hard, and my times just kept on dropping, and my school didn't have a team, so I coached myself, and then I got a team together at my school in high school and middle school. So
wow. Yeah. Do you have any other siblings?
I have an older sister. She has a daughter and a son, and my brother-in-law Kevin, and she's 7 years older than me. We're really close.
Was she involved in running also? Or just...
She was the girly girl, I would say. She was the cheerleader and dancer, and I was kind of the tomboy when I was little, and kind of like my dad's son, because I used to do basketball and I used to play volleyball, so I was more the sporty one and not the girly one.
Oh, cool. Okay, so many people may not know this about you, but you have a red shirt year.
Yes, I do.
Talk to us about that.
And I got injured the end of my freshman year. We were trying to do track, and the doctors really never knew what was going on. I had a pain in my leg, and I mean, it hurt when I sat and everything, and it was really discouraging for a whole year to sit out. But I grew up in my faith a lot then, and my faith in God, and I was really close to my teammates, and I kind of had like the assistant coach role in the cross-country program my sophomore year when I was injured, and my teammates really encouraged me to get through it, and I was at every meet cheering them on, and I went through a lot of doctors to figure out what was wrong, and I got a cortisone shot, and I've had no pain or trouble since.
Good. I hope that for you this season as well, of course. Okay, so you talked about having to coach yourself at one period in your life. But now, luckily, you've been a part of a program where you get that coaching aspect. What has been the most, influential coaching advice you've heard? I think many people may not understand, what it takes to be successful, just to go out there and run. But is there anything more specific to be successful as a cross-country runner? Any helpful advice you've received?
What my coach, a part of it we've all talked about in my team, a lot of it's mental. A lot of people think you are born a runner, which there's a lot of natural runners, but like me, I had asthma, and a lot of it's very mental. You have to believe in yourself and know that you have the courage to do anything, and I say that 80% of it is totally mental and 20% is physical.
Wow. So is there something when you just feel like you can't go anymore that you're repeating in your head as you run?
I think of my nephew. My sister's son, he had a brain tumor when he was little, and he's gone through so many surgeries, and every time I struggle, I think of him at the finish line. He actually got to come to one of my races last year, and
that's awesome.
I let him wear my medal when I was done, and I just, somebody little that goes through that, and I think of just a little side pain that I have or pain in my legs, and I always think of him.
Temporary.
Exactly, because he's so strong, and I just want to be strong for him.
That's awesome. Do you have any type of routine you go through on the day of your meet to get ready, mentally prepared, physically prepared?
Yes, I make sure I drink a lot of water, and obviously healthy the whole day, but there's one thing I do that not a lot of runners do. I wear a white ribbon in my hair, a white bow in my hair usually, or this year I'm actually going to try to wear a sun visor if I can, in memory of my uncle that just passed away this summer. So I try to do something that's memorable at every race. I I pick something out like the white ribbon. That's kind of like my signature thing, or the visor this year. Or like one time for October breast cancer awareness, I wore pink for all the people in my family that have had breast cancer. So I try to do a race in memory of somebody each time, or think of somebody.
That's awesome. Do you have any like superstitions with like a lucky pair of socks or your go-to shoes? Do you have just one pair that you stick with? Anything like that?
I honestly really don't. I'm kind of a laid-back runner as far as the superstitions and stuff go.
Do you think that helps you, like being less tense? And
yes, definitely. Because I know a lot of runners. I've seen a teammate in high school. He had to wear black long socks every race. And I know if you forget something,
then it like throws you off completely.
So that's why I don't really try to keep up with one thing that I have to have. I
So
have my inhaler.
Yeah.
That's a race thing. Exactly.
Okay. Has there been one memorable moment that sticks out the most? I'm sure you have several, but during your time here, is there a favorite memory you could share with us? Like involved with your sport or not, just your time at Aiken?
I'm trying to think.
Maybe your favorite meet experience, if you've had one of those that sticks out the most to you.
My freshman year was my best year, I will say that, just because it was new and I had to learn a lot of responsibility because I'm really close to my mom and dad. So I think the moment that hit me was it was at a conference meet we had, and it was in Alabama, and unfortunately they couldn't go because they're far away. And I just remember crossing the finish line, and I ran the best time I've run for a 6K, and I got really fast my freshman year because I never had really proper coaching since I had different coaches in high school and I had to train myself. So I did really well, and I called them, and that moment I just cried and I was shaking just because I never thought I'd be here and be able to cross the finish line of a Division II collegiate athletics race.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely something to be proud of. Does it matter to you whether you're running home or away? Like, do you have any preference in where your meet is?
Not really.
No, just about there.
I always get anxious. I mean, I'm a senior and I'm anxious about my meet this Friday. I don't really like running up hills. I don't think anyone does.
It's understandable.
So I get nervous always. I mean, about anything. That's my personality. But I try to run my best anywhere I go. So I don't really have a preference.
Do you have anyone who's influenced you during your time at USC Aiken, aside from your current coach and teammates?
Yes, I do. Professor G in the exercise science department. The year I got injured that I was telling you about, him and I actually were injured that same year together, and we had the same doctor. And for the first couple months of school, I didn't really talk to anybody about it, and I was just really down and depressed about it because I couldn't run. And I just started talking to him, and he talked to me just like a person that day, and not just like he was teaching me in class. And so I think at that moment, him and I got through that together, and it really taught me that Aiken is a very family-oriented place and a very close-knit place. The professors here don't just see you as a number, they see you as a person, and I'm close to my exercise science professors, and particularly him just because we have a good interest in running and a common interest in triathlons, and he really helped me through that.
It's awesome. It's definitely important to have that connection, I feel like, to make you feel more important. Okay, so aside from running in your spare time, what do you like to do? Or is running something you even, like, do you like to run in your spare time, or do you want time away from that?
I do run in my spare time. I'm actually training for my first marathon, and it's in Charleston in December.
Awesome.
And I'm running that with my uncle. So
is it the Kiowa one?
Yes, it is. So it'll be my first.
I think it's relatively flat. So I don't know by experience. So. I know by word of mouth.
That's what I heard from somebody else. So
have you done any half marathons?
I've done about 20 half marathons. I started those when I was
13. 10 marathons. That's how I would equate it.
Exactly. So this will be my first. So running's my passion, but I do have other stuff I like. I love to motorcycle ride with my dad. I know when people see me, they don't really think I'm
strike you as a motorcycle.
Exactly. So I enjoy that with him, and then I have my stuff with my mom too. Like, we love to go thrift shopping and yard sailing.
That's
and
fun.
Just do girl stuff. And, I'm really simple. Like, going to Sonic with her and getting a slushie, or going with him to ride and go look at stuff at Cabela's or Bass Pro. I live a simple life, and
that's good.
So those are kind of some of the things I do.
What about if you could say one quality that's like essential to being a successful cross-country runner, what would it be in your eyes? Besides maybe like the fitness part of it, something, maybe an intangible thing that you have to possess.
I would say belief. My high school basketball coach that taught me for 3 years, his just word was believe always, and I've always loved that one word, because that one word makes me think of you have to believe in your abilities. Like me, I have asthma, and I never thought I'd be out there running with a bunch of college girls that are way faster than me. And as a runner, if you don't run your best race, you can never look down on yourself for it, because you'll never get back out on the course. So I always say to believe in yourself and your abilities.
That's awesome. Very inspiring. True words. Okay, so Sam, to sum up your time, your career at USC Aiken in one word, what word would you choose?
I would say experience. Not just classes or learning or getting points or credit hours towards my education, I would say life experience, because I've learned so much about what it is like to be an adult and not under your parents' house, or just being away from home and making decisions on your own, or having an apartment. Like I have my first apartment this year with 2 other girls, and learning how to go get groceries and cook on my own. So I would say experience is what I've learned throughout college and the big picture of it.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck with everything this season. Hopefully no more injuries. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That wraps up another Senior Spotlight with Sam Lisek. I'm your host, Caitlin Grasillo. Thank you for watching.